welcome to a brand new episode of the Transfer Talk podcast. Hope you've been well. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Pete Graves, and today I'm joined by Transfer Talk regular, ESPN's Sam Tighe, and also Sky Sports chief correspondent Kaveh Solokol, who's coming to join us today as well. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being here on the podcast. Two absolute colossuses in the world of transfers. Brilliant to see you both. Sam, I'll start with you because, goodness me, mate, I've seen you. I actually followed you up the stairs, falling over, hobbling, clinging onto the banister. You've hobbled into the studio here with what's happened to you, mate? You all right?
First of all, I took the lift, and the reason for that, I've got a bit of an injury.
Right.
I've got a bit. Yeah, my big toe isn't in great shape. To an overzealous football challenge.
Do you want to name and shame the guy who's kicked you at football?
My neighbour Reese.
Reese.
I wouldn't say his name.
Oh, Reese, I can't believe it. Thank goodness you're only here to use your voice.
Yes.
And we're not going to make you sort of do any football skills. I mean, I imagine your big toe's already pretty big before the injury. I mean, you just look like a guy who's got a big toe. Is it big enough?
It was, but before swelling's gone down now. I've got control of the swelling.
Okay.
So, but yeah, last Tuesday morning.
Right. Okay.
Not good. Yeah.
So you're not going to be signing for Aston Villa anytime soon.
I'm definitely ruled out for the rest of the season.
Fine.
I'd say in football speak, it's a race against time to make the World Cup.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got about a month, haven't I? So
fine. We'll ask our other special guest Thomas to ring Thomas Tuchel and let him know that you might still be available. And that's Kaveh Solokol. Kaveh, lovely to see you, mate. Welcome back onto the Transfer Talk podcast. One of the originals. You were on a lot back in the day. You've come back to see us, mate. Nice to see you.
I think I was on the first one.
Yeah, you were.
When was that?
Hey. Long time.
10 years ago, wasn't it?
10 years ago, mate. 10 years ago. It's not got any better since then, mate, to be honest. But it's great to have you back in with us. And talking about a club today, mate, that keeps you pretty busy, Chelsea. I mean, there's always a headline every day. I mean, what a incredible period it's been for Chelsea Football Club in good and bad ways. But they keep you busy, don't they?
Yeah, no, I mean, they've basically turned into Hollywood FC. I think they're the most sort of high-profile club in London for stories.
Yeah,
because there's always so much going on, and obviously a lot of the media are based in London as well. And they're one of those clubs that everyone's got a point of view about what's happening, what's going on, how well they run, how badly they run, what's happening with their players, what's happening with their transfers. So yeah, it does keep me busy.
Yeah, so
always interested in Chelsea.
They are, and even fans who support Chelsea, some days you see them, they're really excited. Oh, we've signed these 3 players really excited about, and then a week later they've signed another 4, and they're like, you almost feel the fans sort of meander between being really excited and being really down in the dumps as well. So much to speak about. Of course, Liam Rosenior's gone. He's been sacked. We need to reflect on that. The BlueCo ownership in general, I mean, £1.5 billion spent on players. Some have been successful, some less so. You get the feeling some players aren't happy and they're agitating. Sam, I'll start with you here. Many arguing that the Chelsea players downed tools when Liam Rosenior was there. And following victory in the FA Cup semi-final at Wembley at the weekend, Trevor Chalobah has said that the squad need to look at themselves and take responsibility for Rosenior's sacking. Do you agree with them?
Kicking off with a big one, Pete. Quite a lot of layers to this, and I'd also say accusing players of downing tools is quite a serious accusation, and it's very difficult from the outside looking in to really know whatever is happening inside a dressing room. But there's quite a few parts to this. So Rosenior has obviously failed. They went 5 games without scoring a goal, and in my lifetime that is impossible for Chelsea Football Club. So that alone is quite obscene, and it's kind of confusing to me that he's ended up being ultimately a bit of a bad fit for the club, because the whole point of having a multi-club organisation and getting a player into the organisation, a manager into the organisation like Strasbourg, you get to know them. You get to know how they deal with adversity, how they deal with the media, how they deal with dressing rooms. You're kind of removing a lot of the unknowns of the managerial hiring process before you start. So for 107 days to pass and then transpire that he was a bad fit, that's quite the blemish. But look, the players, I mean, obviously, to put it politely, I would say this is a fairly dysfunctional dressing room. And let you point to all sorts of things happening there. The bomb squad that we had over the winter, Mikhailo Mudryk substance ban. Wesley Fofana has how many points on his license? You know, it's one of those situations where no matter where you look, there's a storyline, and probably for the wrong reason. And they could yet set the record for red cards in a single season in the Premier League this campaign. It is technically on the table for them, and they've got 9 in all competitions so far. This is a discipline problem. It stretches beyond Rosinha. It stretches beyond Maresca. I think it goes back to Pochettino, to be honest with you. I think it's 3 years in the making. Then I need to bring up the Club World Cup again, Pete, and not for the reasons that they won it, but for the fitness problems that it has created for them. I spoke to a number of sports scientists and conditioning coaches earlier this season and asked, how will Chelsea manage this? And the answer was, they won't. They won't be able to play at the level they want to all season long, because they're effectively playing 2 seasons wrapped into one. No mental break, no ability to switch off. So you get physical fatigue, you get mental fatigue, and you get injuries. And that's what's happening. So I think this team looks knackered by the 55th or 60th minute, and I think that's been the case since about December. So when we look at Chelsea as a whole, there's so much going on, so many problems, multiple different levels. I don't even know where to start. But I've given you the best attempt at an appetizer.
Thank you. And poor old Carve's got to try and find all the answers to all it. Carve, look.
Can I just say on the Club World Cup?
Yeah, go on.
I've got to disagree on that.
Go on.
Because the 2 teams were in the FA Cup final, both played in the Club World Cup.
Fair
Chelsea, Man City. Man City going for the title.
Yeah. They got me that knackered.
Did people say they're knackered?
Yeah.
Bayern Munich played in the Club World Cup. Real Madrid played in the Club World Cup. PSG played in the Club World Cup. Atletico Madrid played in the Club World Cup. Benfica played in the Club World Cup. So I just don't buy this, I think it's a bit of an urban myth that they're tied. They've got a massive squad.
Yeah. And fans,
not just them, but all modern clubs now have big squads.
And fans listening to this at home will be like, or in the cars or wherever, they'll be thinking, I got tired of this whole thing about players being tied. It drives supporters mad.
No, come on. I mean, look, the teams that made it to the last 4 of the Club World Cup, and 3 of them were European. So we'll just discount Flamengo because their season runs differently. That was in the middle of their campaign, so it doesn't really stack up. The 3 teams that made it to the semi-finals, the 3 European teams, which is obviously Real Madrid, Chelsea, and PSG, have all had horrendous injury problems this season.
Spurs have had terrible injury problems.
Look,
they weren't playing in the.
It's not that you can only have injury problems if you.
I think it's just an easy thing to say. I don't think Chelsea have had, that many more injuries than other sides.
They've had quite a lot.
Well, but I mean, everyone's had injuries.
Of course, everyone has.
So the other thing is they had a break after the Club World Cup. They had 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
All these players, most summers they're playing in Euros or World Cups.
There wasn't one of those.
If they weren't playing in the Club World Cup, guess what they'd be doing? They'll do what they're doing this summer, which is to go to Hong Kong and New Zealand.
Yeah, so they'd be playing anyway.
Or Australia or the USA. And then you can't have it both ways, because people say, the Club World Cup is just a glorified, kickabout. It's not competitive. But then,
Chelsea took it seriously, didn't they?
Yeah, I think PSG took it serious.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It's fair. I watched this team physically crumble after about 60 minutes of each game. Like I can see the fatigue levels in them, and I can see that they cannot play to the level that the Premier League is requiring for 90 minutes.
Well, I think as Carver says, like whether it's the Club World Cup, whether it's a mentality thing, whether it's the fact that they got the wrong manager, whether it's the fact that they signed the wrong players, there's clearly a lot of things that are meaning that Chelsea, even though they're in a FA Cup final, as you say, haven't really. It's been so inconsistent, and just looking on Rosinha, Carve, I mean. Usually when a manager goes, you get the usual social media love-in from all the players putting on their Instagram stories. Oh, thanks, Gaffer, this was our fault and we must take the blame. Or like, thanks for all the help. Nothing. Not one Chelsea player posted anything about thanks to Liam Rosinha. So he came in, he went out. Is it fair to say he wasn't the most popular? I mean, we know the fans. We've all seen the footage from Brighton when he walks over and they're all booing him and he's trying to like tap his heart and the response he got. But the players, do you think he was popular in the dressing room?
I think the players like him. I don't think it's a question of the players didn't like him or he didn't get on with the players. I just think the players didn't buy into what he was trying to get them to do.
Yeah.
That was the bottom line, and you could see that in the performances they were turning out. And I still think it's too easy to say, oh, the players weren't trying, the players weren't running. I think every time somebody puts on a Chelsea shirt, you are going to give 100%, but they just didn't believe totally in what he was asking them to do. That was the whole issue.
They seem to hold all the power, the players. So are we seeing now these long-term contracts? Chelsea are famous for these long-term contracts. We're seeing now for the first time that actually that was a bad idea.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it means that somebody like Enzo Fernandez, who may want to leave Real Madrid, may be interested in signing him this summer. It means that Chelsea are in a really, really strong position because he's got a contract until 2032, I think. Something like that.
Will it make a difference when Real come in? Say, well, he's got 6 years left, so you're going to have to pay above the odds. Or
well, I think if they offered £100 million, I think Chelsea would let him go.
Yeah,
I don't think he's untouchable at Chelsea. But
what if you've got a rubbish one who's got a 6-year contract?
Like who?
Well, Mudryk. I mean, there's a few, isn't there?
But the Mudryk is an issue that was out of Chelsea's control. What's happened, and they're dealing with it now. But no, I know it's controversial giving these long contracts, but there are benefits to it as well.
Yeah.
But just going back, just going back to Liam Rossini, I think, and the dressing room, you are right in saying there are some really, really big personalities in that Chelsea dressing room, and to be able to command that dressing room, you have to be a big character and a big personality yourself. I don't know Liam Rossini. All the interactions I've ever had with him, he comes across as a very, very nice person. He's obviously a very, very good coach as well. And it's not a disgrace to be sacked by Chelsea, Antonio Conte, Carlo Ancelotti, Jose Mourinho, some of the great managers of all time have been sacked by Chelsea and gone on to, even better things afterwards.
But just when you're saying those names, Conte, Ancelotti, Scolari, Mourinho, I mean, these huge managers with huge aura and huge names in world football. I mean, Rafa's been there. I mean, it's endless. Liam Rossini doesn't really fit the profile of all of those. But
it doesn't fit that profile.
No.
Doesn't Rossini fit the profile that the current ownership are?
Well, Maresca,
which is somebody who will sit in a structure and work under sporting directors.
Well, who's the man then now? Who's the man now? I'm going to ask you both.
Who's the man who should take charge?
Yeah, who fits the bill for Chelsea? And if Rossini didn't, and Maresca did okay. Who fits the bill now?
So, obviously, very difficult question to answer. Chelsea are struggling to answer themselves, I'd imagine, hence the period of introspection that they announced, which was quite interesting. I've never heard a club say that. But they're going to need to find somebody who is adept at working with a young squad. Obviously, we all know that Chelsea's squad is average age youngest in the Premier League, and the major focus of their recruitment is to buy young players. So point A is find someone that can harness that talent and have the patience to work with those players. But I think Rossini may have just reminded us that you're also going to have to be, as a manager, you're going to have the personality and the wherewithal to sit on a very global stage and manage one of the very biggest clubs in the world and take with that all of the stuff that needs to happen. Say the right thing at the right time and also don't say anything at the right time. I think Rossini ultimately got that a bit wrong. The stage was possibly a little bit too big for him. It's not necessarily a knock on him because he is very early into his career. The difficulty Chelsea have here is that if you're looking for that personality and you're looking for that manager that has that stature, will they work in the structure that Chelsea have prescribed? So that is where they're going to have to try and find the sweet spot. And that is, for me, what makes this so difficult for an appointment.
Who's in the frame, Carve, do we think then?
I think the person I would go for would be Xabi Alonso.
Okay.
I think, just from the career he's had as a player, all the massive clubs he's played for, he's managed Real Madrid as well. He was forced out by the Real Madrid dressing room. That is a different level of dressing room even to Chelsea's. And I think he would immediately command the respect of the Chelsea players. And tactically, I think he'd be brilliant. So he'd get my vote. But there are lots of other really good managers potentially available this summer. If you speak to people at Chelsea in and around the club, they would say to you, we're in a much better position this summer than we were 2 summers ago.
Yes.
When we appointed Maresca. Because when we appointed Maresca, the final shortlist, I think, was Enzo Maresca and Kieran McKenna. At that time, neither of those two managers had any Premier League experience. There was also Thomas Frank, Roberto De Zerbi as well, they spoke to. This time round, you've got much more options. You've got Oliver Glasner, for instance. Marco Silva could potentially become available. Anthony Irola as well. I think they're looking for somebody with Premier League experience, definitely, and or somebody who's managed at a very high level and has a track record of success. They don't want to take any risks anymore. And in the past, I know we talk about the fact that they just want a yes man or they want a coach who's going to do their bidding. They have actually interviewed some stellar names in the past, this ownership. You know, they've spoken to Luis Enrique. They've spoken to Julian Nagelsmann. They've spoken to Hansi Flick. So, you know, those kind of appointments were things that they were looking at and they were interviewing and they were having talks. Didn't happen for a variety of reasons. But I think they will aim high.
Those three instantly, you think they sound like Chelsea managers. Nagelsmann, Enrique, Hansi Flick. That's the kind of what you expect.
Yeah.
But I take your point.
If Roman Abramovich
Maybe the
was in
Chelsea of
charge.
old, yeah.
Xavi Alonso
6 years ago.
But they've tried. They've tried.
Alonso's good. Cesc Fabregas also should be probably on this list of like...
Too quick early for him?
Well, he's done some pretty amazing things at Como, and he obviously checks the box, the same one that Xabi Alonso checks, which is it's Cesc Fabregas. Like, everybody knows who that is, and better yet, he played for Chelsea and was brilliant for them, whereas Alonso didn't quite have that. He was obviously played for Liverpool. So that also, for me, makes some sense.
I'll give it Frank Lampard then.
Sure, why not? Yeah,
Don't had a great
this is
season.
not. Don't disappoint the Coventry City fans.
No, I know. I feel congratulations to Coventry City, and if there are fans listening, they've been brilliant this season, and I absolutely hope that Frank, and I'm sure he will, gives them a good solid year.
Interesting about Frank is that he still lives very close to Stamford Bridge. His family home's still there, and he still, when he's got time off, he's at Chelsea games. I've seen him in the owner's box at Stamford Bridge, so I think maybe sometime in the future. I don't think now is the right time for that to happen.
Similarly, was Fabregas in the same boat?
Fabregas, what I've been told, not by anybody at Chelsea, but when we've been talking about Fabregas, I think there's some kind of suggestion that maybe long term the plan for him is to manage Arsenal one day.
Wow.
Ooh.
And I'm not sure whether moving to Chelsea would be part of his career progression. I don't know. I mean, that's just
You could
that's
see
just
that. You
one
could see that.
one person who's just said that
Yeah.
to me.
That
So
could jeopardise the Arsenal plan, though, if there were such a plan.
Whoever it is, are they going to have control over transfers, and are they going to get this is going to determine who they're going to get. Really, they're going to have to. BlueCo going to have to relinquish some control to the new manager?
The good news for Chelsea fans is that Chelsea will sign players this summer, and they won't just be young players. I think we're going to see a tweak in their transfer strategy. They're going to sign more experienced players, players with Premier League experience. To be fair to them, they have tried to sign older, more experienced players before. This is, it's not breaking news. We've discussed this before. For instance, they were exploring the possibility of signing Virgil van Dijk from Liverpool before he signed his new contract. I think Mo Salah was a possibility as well before he signed his new Liverpool contract. So they haven't just been focusing on signing 20-year-old players.
Sure.
This summer, there will be more experienced players coming in. Will the new manager have the final say? No, he won't. He will be involved in the discussions and the targeting of players, but he's not going to be Sir Alex Ferguson. He's not going to have total control of the club.
The ownership of Chelsea is very interesting. Obviously, they identified Liam Rosigne. That's not worked out. Obviously, bringing him over from Strasbourg. The Strasbourg's are also under the umbrella of this BlueCo ownership. But we hear about them. We hear about Clear Lake Capital, Todd Bowley. Carl, can you sum up for people listening? How does the sort of day-to-day running of the club take place? Who's in charge? Who's running the ship there? Who's steering that thing?
I think at the moment, the person who's effectively in charge is Behdad Iqbali, who's the co-owner. He is sort of the person you see most often at games in the owner's box at the moment. He's a sort of driving force behind the running of the club. But day to day, it's down to the co-sporting directors, Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart. They've got Joe Shields there, recruitment. Sam Jewell, recruitment. They've got Dave Fallows, who's come in from Liverpool as well.